part 4 of this short series. In this section, we're going to go over what to expect looking forward in creating beats with Ableton. So this project that I have pulled up here is a beat that I finished a while back and sold to a hip-hop group in Salt Lake City called Free Mind Movement. Definitely check out their YouTube page. They do some awesome work. Yeah, so you can see I've got a lot of different layers of sound going on here. And in the earlier videos, we talked about hitting tab to use session view. This is where I would start to use the session view, and I use it for more mixing purposes than anything. So you can see here it's got a better visual indication of how loud each of your sounds are coming out. And this way you can mix them and tailor them so that everything fits in the mix well. I'm not going to go too much over mixing and mastering in this series. I'll do another series later on that's more focused on mixing and mastering. We'll just play a quick sample here of what's going on, and I'll tab back and forth between the arrangement view and the session view so you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, this view is the one that I use to arrange all the different volumes of my different instruments in the track. Another thing that you'll want to start looking into are the VSTs, or the aftermarket effects and instruments that we talked about earlier. Izotope has a bunch of great products. There's hundreds and hundreds of VSTs out there. I'll leave a list in the description of some that I like and use often. But go crazy, just dig through the internet. There's a bunch of free ones, there's a bunch of paid ones. Don't worry about that too much in the beginning. I would definitely say focus on getting the beats created and then start worrying about all the bells and whistles a little bit later. Another thing I wanted to talk about in this end section here is freezing audio or bouncing audio. You'll hear those terms a lot in beat production. People will talk about stems, or can I get the stems for that? What they're talking about is taking a track that's in MIDI form, so this piano roll here, you can see that it's just notes on the piano right now. The way you accomplish that is you right click on the track here, go down to freeze track, and it's going to freeze our MIDI arrangement into pure audio. So once this is finished, I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so you can see now that it's turned this track kind of a light blue here, and we have frozen this track, which means that I cannot change the notes, I cannot change the effects on the channel, I can't really do anything with it because it's frozen. So a quick thing to remember before you actually freeze a track is that you will not be able to change the notes. So make sure that you have the exact melody that you want before you freeze it or bounce it to audio, because you cannot change it later. Once you've got it frozen like this, you right click and flatten the track, and this is going to go ahead and flatten it into actual audio files. So you can see now we've just got the audio files and none of the piano notes. So I could not change the melody from here, but I could add more processing onto this actual audio file. It clears all of your effects off, everything is ready to go in a fresh audio format. You don't always have to freeze your tracks, but if you want the audio stems, or if somebody wants a track out, this is what you'll have to do, is make sure that you have all of your different tracks frozen and not in MIDI form. That way you can send somebody some audio files and they have everything they need to recreate the track or edit the track, and they don't even necessarily have to have Ableton. Some other things that you'll want to start looking into is how to sample sounds, or sample other tracks, or sample a YouTube video, or basically whatever you want. Sampling is a huge part of the hip-hop industry and most music in general nowadays. A lot of them have a sample. The term sampling basically means taking a sound or a specific section of another track and altering it putting it into your own beat. I've got some tutorials coming up about sampling specifically, so stay tuned for those. Yeah, so my suggestion at this point would just be to go crazy. Ableton and producing beats takes a lot of creativity and a lot of work. So again, don't get too down on yourself if it's not clicking right away. Just keep playing with the program. It's going to be like anything else in life. If you go to the gym for your first time in years, you're not going to be squatting 600 pounds right off the bat. You've just got to keep practicing, start slow, Instead of worrying about creating entire beats at the moment, just worry about creating a small section, maybe just one bar at a time. Render that, see how it sounds, listen to it in different audio systems, listen to it in your car, figuring out where to go from there. Just keep doing something. Anything is better than nothing. A lot of times you see people do a beat challenge for a certain month where they make a short 30-second beat every day of a month, and that seems to help a lot. I've done that a couple times, and it really strengthens your skills and gets you in the mindset of feeling good that you've created something and that you've finished something. And it will be much easier to create a full beat if you've already done 30 days worth of short sample beats. Another thing that seemed to help me a lot was finding other tracks that I really liked or that I really enjoyed, and basically throwing a copy of them in Ableton and breaking the track down and figuring out what this producer is doing to make these sounds, or where their sounds fall on the spectrum, what frequency their bass is in, how loud the bass is compared to the snare, and things like that. Listen to a lot of different tracks and start to listen very intently and listen for all the different sounds. Listen for the stereo width, whether things are in the center or if they're spread to the left or the right. Just keep listening to music. Listen to all different types of music too. I definitely suggest not just listening to hip hop. I've got a lot of inspiration and influence from a lot of EDM tracks and metal tracks and even some country music sometimes. Just start to listen to the way that all music is put together and what it is that makes a track that you like. You know, is it the bass? Is it the snare? Is it the melody? Is it the bounce to the track? Just start dissecting songs that you hear, even on the radio, songs that you enjoy, and try to replicate those. Not copy them note for note, beat for beat, but just to get a general idea of what's going on and what seems to be working out there in the world right now and what is not. Definitely don't box yourself in on that same note though. Stay creative, stay true to yourself, make the music that you would want to hear. So I hope you enjoyed this short series. Hopefully those of you that are just getting started in Ableton now have a little bit of knowledge to get you started and get you to start producing beats. I've got a lot more tutorials coming up in the future, so subscribe, leave a comment if there's something you're struggling with. I'll do my very best to get back to you as soon as possible. Alright, so we're going to wrap that up here. Again, stay tuned for some more tutorials coming out soon. I'm going to try and do one every Tuesday from here on out. And again, if you have questions, just hit me up in the comments. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this short series, and I hope this gets somebody out there started that was feeling a little overwhelmed. Hopefully you have a better idea of what's going on and how to get started making beats. Alright, now get out there and go make some beats. Get started. Go start something today. Start something every day. So thanks for watching, and best of luck to you in the future.